Thanks for checking out Symphony on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.
Let me start with you, Alhaji. I have to start with you because you contested in the 2019 presidential election, and you went through all the processes. You have attended INEC meetings. In 2018, the NCC had a committee set up. The INEC set up a committee where the NCC was a member, and they assured INEC that the electronic transmission of results can take place because there's enough coverage of network in Nigeria to do that. And it's surprising that just a few days ago, I think Friday, in the House of Representatives, the same person who spoke then when the INEC chairman, Professor Yakubu, met with him, also told the National Assembly that they have less than 50% coverage in Nigeria. So who do we believe? What do you think?
Well, Ijoma, you know, this is Nigeria. And the unfortunate thing is that when you talk about Nigeria, it's as if we are living on an island, that we are not a member of the international community, where laws and orders and regulations are respected. Human dignity is even respected. In Nigeria, people believe that you can get away with even murder and nothing will happen to you. Otherwise, you will not contemplate a situation where you have somebody who is supposed to be the custodian of everything that has to do with communication in terms of telling the truth, will come on earth and will lie. You know, I mean, it can only happen in this country. So the gentleman from the NCC who came to say that they have only 50% coverage of what? I don't know what he was talking about, because even before the coming of the GSM in this country, you had what you call this satellite radio, telephones that you can use. And businesses that are not, you can't compare businesses with elections. Elections is about the nation. Business is about just an outfit, But businesses, you have been using satellite telephones to transmit data, information, from the remotest part of the world that you can think of, on the sea, on the land, or wherever. So if we consider election very important, even if NCC is saying they don't have the capacity, why can't we employ those technology which has been there since the issue of communication becomes the order of the day? So this is embarrassing. It's an embarrassment to Nigerians, especially Nigerians in diaspora, and especially even the young one, the youth. But, Ijoma, I think the takeaway from this is that the youth and the women have their work cut out for them now. They now know who this cross of leaders, that so-called leaders that we have, especially in the National Assembly, who they are and what they represent. And what that means is that they should get on the mobilization of Nigerians to ensure that whatever may come out, in the next elections, massively people should go and vote them out of the offices. And the unfortunate thing also is that before, I was thinking that we have a saving ground in the person of President Muhammadu Buhari. But if I'm to look at what transpired before now, I still have my doubts whether the president will rise to the occasion and recognize the fact that this is the only legacy that he has, which will live long after him. Because if he makes the mistake of signing what the National Assembly has signed, believe me, he has rubbished everything that represents Buhari, which led to his election in 2015 as the man that is straightforward, is a reputable, credible, individual. Because this is so obvious that there is no way you can defend what the National Assembly, mostly by the APC senators and House of Representatives, even after their leaders had come out to tell Nigerians, reassure Nigerians that they will not support anything that is against the interests of Nigeria. They are not school children, and even school children today, they use computers, they have laptops, they have everything. So today, for the National Assembly to come and pass this nauseating and very, very, very annoying, legislation that we can't transmit results from the polling units. I mean, it's something that we know that they were hallucinating, thinking that Nigerians of yesterday, will be the same Nigerians that they can bamboozle and then tell them all sorts of things that cannot hold water. 2018, like you rightly said,
yes,
there was an assurance from the same NCC.
I know you were part of that meeting.
And the operators, the other operators, they assured Nigerians that the commission that yes, they can and not even that. The commission had in fact put this thing to practical use in even in Bayelsa as delivery areas where you would think that you cannot communicate, and this
in Nasarawa
and Nasarawa and all the elections that I've had, Edo and all these things, they tested, and even 2019 elections. That's why you had the case of computers that the servers are not there or there. They used this system and they got results from all the polling units. It's just because, like I said, this is Nigeria. And then unfortunately for us, the court were compromised. Well, I don't know whether they are compromised or the information put in front of the courts, indicated that, what happened, what did not happen, happened. And then, the court went for it. And then did not give the elections to the person that should have been declared as the president of this country. So I think it's about time the youth in particular and women of this country should rise up, to this challenge and then vote massively and protect your votes, no matter what they are telling you, So, but I am praying and I hope that Mr. President will not be caged, will not be deceived, to sign this bill into law.
But when if he doesn't sign it, then what about time? You know what happened before 2019 election? President said it was too close to election.
Well, I think the person on trial here, whose image and everything integrity is on trial, is Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari. He is the one that they're towing. They want to rubbish everything that he represents, and he has, his record to protect. So he can. There's nothing that is impossible. If he likes, if they, he can veto it. If it means to veto the bill, that this is what I want because this is about me. And indeed, it's about Mr. President because he's not contesting. These ones are contesting. They are trying to protect, the loot, because I call it the loot, because all of them came through this crooked system that we are trying to get out of the way. And they want to continue to benefit from a corrupt system so that we continue to produce corrupt leaders, and this country would not move any inch. So this is why I believe Nigerians should wake up, and then if the law, because they can, if you go to court, like the PDP say are going to court, which is okay, we will also go to court perhaps, but even if you go to court, I have my reservations, because the court will only, when you look at the kind of situations we have in this country, where power of incumbency, it's always, has this overbearing influence on all the systems, all the tiers of government. That's what is playing out. But Mr. President should please rise to the occasion. He should know that this is not about any other person. He is the one that is on trial. He is the one that these people want to rubbish. And anybody can tell him this. It doesn't take somebody like me or any, so can tell that, Mr. President, you are the one that these people are going to rubbish your record. And you should stand against what they have done. Stand on the side of Nigerians. I mean, the 3,000 Frenchmen cannot be wrong. That's what the saying goes. And then here we have all walks of life Nigerians within Nigeria and outside Nigeria are saying this is wrong. And if Nigerians say it's wrong, Mr. President, you are elected by these Nigerians. Tell them it is wrong.
All right, Alhaji Sani, will come back to you. Let's quickly go to the national chairman of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, Bishop AMAKRI. Thank you again for coming on the show. Yes, the senators. I'm sure your senator was one of the senators that walked out that very day. He didn't even vote. Is he among the 28?
Yeah, he walked out on protest.
He walked out on because he was protesting against it.
Yeah.
So and what do you...
the truth of the matter is that, look, Ijoma, I don't want to dwell on this conspiracy theory about whether NCC man is saying or the National Assembly. I would prefer to deal with the heart of the issue. Number one, first, let me admit that we all as politicians has failed this country, including myself, because we are the cause of what we are experiencing today. Failure in governance, be it legislation or executive. I don't want to go into judiciary, because judiciary, it is the politicians actually that actually get the judiciary in whatever thing. So I don't want to dwell into that. It is when the politicians fail that the judiciary sometimes will come into rescue in the situation. Now, why am I saying that? It is also important that we let Nigerians know the distinction between politicians and politicians. Politicians and politicians. Unfortunately, the politicians have taken the space, the political space, whereby overshadowing the politicians who actually are come with great deal of patriotism, volunteerism, and everything they got to give to their fatherland. And that's why you hear them every time hiding under the guise of the majority will always have their way, while the minority will have their say. But the beauty of it is they are forgetting that there is going to be the other side of the coin. And that's why I agree with my brother that until the indigenous people of Nigeria, that's what I mean by indigenous people of Nigeria, the downtrodden, the people that they go, actually for me, the voters, they are the ones that now the ball stopped on their, desk, because they are the ones that decide. If you put the numbers of the whole legislatures and the executives, let us give the legislature, we cannot give them more than 469. You have 360, 109, right? You put the number together, they are all 469.
How many percent?
How many number are they?
Over 200 million people.
How many number are they?
How many are there?
Now add the president and his vice.
Cabinet.
And in the cabinet. They are not up to 1,000.
That means they are not even up to 10%.
So what are we saying? That's why I said, I don't, you see, if we continue to talk, we will not get anywhere. The solution is about, the only solution to it is let us galvanize ourselves. Let's come out en masse and let the will of these people speak. And the opportunities have been coming several times. But the annoying part of it is when electioneering season is by the corner, you now start seeing these politicians, because they have amassed so much wealth, our money, my own money, our money, taxpayers' money, believing that it's their own money. How many of them are there that have something doing? Some of them, when you ask somebody, he will tell you, when you ask the person, what do you do? He says, I'm a politician.
No job.
No job.
And if he's out of power, you see.
That's all. Simple. So, Ijoma, let us begin to learn how we will deal with the real heart of the issue, which is the downtrodden must begin to have a rethink, to understand that it doesn't matter now about what color the pussycat is. What matters is if the cat is fit to catch the rat. It's not about APC or PDP. We have 18 political parties. Who is telling you that other parties do not have structure in their states? It's about the man, the person who is going for the contest. The only thing you need in the political environment is a man who has, or a woman who has social capital, who have been reaching out to the people. And we have so many of them everywhere around this country. Let us not be carried away with these names of these two identical twins. They call themselves, whether the PDP or APC. It's not about, it's about the country now. And by the special grace of God, it's not a threat. Like I continue to say, some of us who are out to stake our neck on this subject matter, it will not stand. And it's going to be in peace and harmony. There's nothing like bloodshed. The people will come out and they will disagree with their position. They have taken the majority, like they say in the parliament. The people's majority will also speak. So let them not cry. When the people's majority now also begin to speak, they must hear the majorities cry outside there, because they are the ones who are legitimately, we employ them. We employ them.
To serve us.
To serve us. It's not about self-aggrandizement. So any leader, political leader, or whether political leader or whatever, whoever you are, you find yourself in the position of, leadership. If you have joy for constitutional delinquent, then I don't think you have a business with leadership.
All right.
So what we are seeing today in the National Assembly is a group of persons who do not even respect those who employ them. Otherwise, there was a public hearing. Civil societies met. Political parties leaders met. Other individuals, opinion, citizens of this country, they all gave their opinion. And their opinion was straight. That look, there is nothing rather than let us go with electronic voting and electronic transmission of results. Why will you be afraid of those two things, Ijoma?
Exactly. You see,
if you are for service to humanity.
All right, talking about fear and the reason why some of the senators in the Red Chamber had to vote for nay, I spoke with a PDP senator from Cross River State who happens to go against his party by voting for nay. And I asked him, why did you do that? And here is what he has to say. Let's listen to him via telephone. I spoke with him a few hours ago.
I voted based on the fact that during my campaign, I came in last year through by-election. And in the course of my campaign in the 54 wards of Cross River North Senatorial District, it got to a local government, which is Obanliku local government. The only request from the elders and chiefs in that area was that, look, even if you cannot do anything for us, if you are elected as a senator, give us network. We are cut off from the world. And these are people with over 10,000 votes. They don't have network. Even in my own village where I come from, Utuyateri, a local government area, there is no network. Another parts of Cross River North, during the course of my campaign, there was a time I was going to Mbube. The former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, was trying to reach me on phone. He could not because of network. And for you to insist on transmission of results, I am not against e-voting or whatever. I am not. But now, how can you do election when there is no network to transmit results from my village? Even myself, I will be disenfranchised. My people, my constituents will be disenfranchised. It is not the issue of party now. It is the issue of governance. And governance has to be effective governance. Okay. I am not against it. If today the situation has improved, I'm a lawyer. I can still sponsor the same bill. So if somebody tells you that I don't know the importance of electronic transmission of results, then the person is telling a lie. The explanation is simple. As long as it is electronic transmission of results from one point from my village or from other parts of my senatorial district to the other, I felt that it is not right for my people to be disenfranchised. No. And if I can tell you that my village, we don't have network, look, don't forget that on the 15th of June, I wrote a letter and sent my aid to Lagos. A letter to MTN, a letter to Globacom, a letter to Airtel, urging them to come to Cross River North and install their mask to enable my people have access to network. I did that. I'm not a member of the INEC election bill committee, amendment committee. I was not a member. I was not even privy to it. I did all these things last month before this bill came in for amendment. So to let you know that this is the problem of my people, I have the facts. I can send it to you now. You can call MTN and Glow office and Airtel office. They will tell you that they are working on my request for installation of masks in some part of Cross River North Senatorial District.
Okay, that's...
I did that without any intention of voting yes or no last week.
So, Senator, but I want to ask you a question. If you feel that your people may be disenfranchised if electronic transmission of results is allowed, how did they register? How did they register to get their PVC? Because
manually.
No, but they need, but they need this.
Recently, they are introducing the
Okay.
which they just started. And as even as I talk to you now, people are there. They are searching for where to go and place computer to register people online. As I talk to you, I'll send people home. They are busy moving from one location to the other because they cannot have network to register online.
Stephen O'Day from Cross River, he has said that he had to vote for nay because there's no network in his constituency, especially his village. So, and I asked him, how did they register? And how he's a PDP senator. He's a PDP senator. He's still in APC. He's still in PDP.
I thought he come to the.
He has not defected. He's still in PDP. So he's an APC senator. He's still there. I mean, he's a PDP senator. Sorry, he's still a member of PDP. Like I said, Alhaji Yabagi, you see, this is the understanding that they have. And I also told the senator, probably some of you don't understand what INEC mean by electronic transmission of results. I was in Edo. I covered the election in Ondo, and I saw what happened. It is the paper from the polling units that the polling unit returning officer writes figures with pen and biro. After writing, calculate, you will see some of them cancelling mutilation and all that. Yeah. At the end of the day, they will write the number of votes and the agents of political party will come there to sign. That is the paper that is snapped and sent. But that does not mean that as they transmit the result, whatever is in the server is what INEC will use. They send that same paper to collation centers. Exactly. So I am very sure, I don't know what your position will be, that probably the members of the National Assembly do not understand what INEC mean by electronic transmission of results. So what do you think?
They very much understand what it all means. Because,
they do.
Yeah. You see, because these instruments that they are using, for electronic transfer, they have what you call storage facilities. They have a storage.
Yes.
Even in the event that, you don't have network to transmit it, it remains in the storage of the equipment. So which means at any point in time you can download it.
Yes.
And then get the data, back it up with the paper, the manual one, like you have just said. So we must not portray Nigeria as a Stone Age, country where people are not thinking. We are thinking. We are. You can even safely say we're the smartest people on earth. Because look at Nigerians outside Nigeria. We are always number one or a very good number two, to the extent that people are looking for Nigerians. You take America, for instance, Europe, whatever. We are top, performers. We are not laybacks. We are not as backward as the National Assembly wants to portray this country to be. It's an embarrassment, believe you me, to this country. They should look for something else, to use to rig the elections, but not to drag the name of this country into the mud and then let us portray us as people who do not have brains at all. So the point is that the distinguished senator was saying that he couldn't
no network in
his place. You don't need, because like I said, there are remote terminal units that you can acquire, which will use satellite, even if it gets to that. And elections are so important, then businesses that are using these instruments I'm talking about, there are things that you call remote terminal units, RTUs, that you can acquire with the SIM, like what you have today. It will use the satellite and then get to the nearest server where he can transmit the information to. So this is not something, we're talking about artificial intelligence, we're talking about some other things beyond.
They are taking us back.
And you are talking about to Stone Age.
40 years ago.
That we are not as advanced as we are. For politics, for God's sake, and I'm not surprised because look at even the economies that are the entities that are in the hands of the government today, like oil and gas sector. The same transmission of data that we are talking about is not happening, because of corruption. So please, let us, please, the government should, take the knees off our necks so we can breathe as a people, as a member of Committee of Nations who is respected all over the world. So I believe this is something that cannot stand the test of time. If it goes to court, and like I've said, and my brother here, Bishop has said, Nigerians should please wake up and mobilize themselves to massively vote, during the elections and ensure that their results is not falsified.
Okay. All right. The few time that we have here, you see, when I go back to what you said, you don't want to talk about the NCC, but we have limited time.
No, I don't want. I really don't want.
Yes, you don't want to, but there's a point.
Be any different.
Yes, there's a point I need to make. If the NCC, according to some of these National Assembly members, I've seen statements where they said, even the DSP, in a statement on Sunday, he said, following the statement made by NCC that the coverage of network in Nigeria is less than 40 something. That means over 50% of Nigerian states do not have coverage. Yeah, that's what it means.
What you should, another thing that you must also look at. Initially, they said they were going to invite the chairman of INEC and the NCC. So why didn't they invite the chairman of INEC?
No, they said they announced that chairman of INEC should come to the National Assembly as well as NCC.
Yes.
And I have information that the same National Assembly wrote to INEC that they shouldn't come.
That's what I'm saying.
So why should they be saying INEC refused to come?
They want to tell lies.
Yes, I have
to Nigerians.
I have that information. In fact, I got information from a very reliable source that they wrote to INEC. Okay, you are confirming it. That INEC shouldn't come to National Assembly anymore.
Why not?
So what's going on? Anyway, we have less than a minute.
Like I said, Ijoma, forget about this conspiracy theory.
It's a fraud.
Let's forget about this conspiracy
It's a fraud.
My own strategy
That's what they are.
in dealing with issues is let us do less of talking and go into the field and do the right thing.
Exactly.
Nigerians can do it. This is the time for them to wake up.
Yes.
I don't want to
look
be
at
on
what
national
happened in
television
NSAS,
to be saying some certain things. But at some point, one can be pushed to the wall to say some things that are not worth it.
Yeah.
And what are these things? NSAS is a mere play.
Exactly.
It's a play.
But we don't want what happened in NSAS to repeat
Excuse
itself.
me.
Because
No,
a
it's
lot
not
of
about
our young men
excuse
died.
me. It's not about NSAS.
Okay.
I'm saying NSAS is a child's play. Anybody that buys into the idea of ballot revolution and believe in what the power of ballot revolution is, and that's why I say NSAS is a child's play to NSAS. So let us see how we can fall under the spirit of ballot revolution and come under that ladder, so that we can use our ballot and teach them a lesson. We need to actually flush out these politicians that I've said before. Otherwise, we will still remain where we are. Let's bring in politicians who are really, really passionate about nation building, who are patriotic driven, people who believe, who can spend even their little kobo in the business of nation building. And they can't come with their strength unless the people give them the mandate. If we have all the time, and one thing I continue to tell the electorate,
all right,
if you can fast, if you are a Christian or a Muslim. You fast whether 30 days or 40 days.
So let's go spiritual.
If you can fast for 40 days or 30 days, why can't you fast for one day, a day of election, and reject somebody's 5,000 or 10,000 that is given to you? Just one day. Can't you fast and reject 4,000 naira and fast for that day?
All right.
And you know why I said I like development. I like what is happening.
Exactly.
Is that people are more active, more when they are voting against something, and like you can see, across the board, Nigerians are against what nations.
It's just a deliberate thing they do, just to throw the people into abject poverty. And prior to election, they just come out with stipends and give to people who are hungry. That they say,
gentlemen, can we just